I'll be coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. Drop the top when I'm in it. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. Yeah, I go so. Everybody know you know when they click through. Try to say it's about to be a show big fun. Click through, try to say it's about to be a show big fun. Coming up hot for a minute.
Hello, and welcome to our live feed today. This is the top of the Cableway Mountain. We're at the Cableway building, even though you can't see the view from here. Believe me, it is nice up here. And today, the reason why we are sitting here, we'd like to just dive into a bit of what the ZK Teco Enduro SA Champs was going to look like come next weekend, and run you guys through what you can expect and what the rules and regulations look like currently, and what Uncle Cyril has recently said to us, and just where we stand. So let me run you through the weekend. We have some incredible people that dive into things like this and make days and weekends an event like this possible. So before we go into nitty-gritty rules and what you should and should not bring or do for the weekend, I'd like to introduce to you Lukey and Tristan from ZK Teco, from our title sponsor. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Cool.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah.
It's nice having you guys here. ZK Teco. A lot of people in the stream, if you're really not sure what ZK Teco means, or if you had left with a big question mark mentally, it's okay. I'm going to have them explain to you a bit what ZK Teco is about, their products, where they come from, and just to give you some context as to what brand and what company makes stuff like this possible. Lukey,
Yes.
tell us a bit more about what you do and why we're here.
Yeah, cool. So ZK Teco is one of the biggest manufacturers of security products in the world, and is a leader in biometric security, like facial recognition and fingerprint verification technology. We have over 30 branches across the world, and so that makes us truly a global brand.
Incredible to have a brand like this behind events like these. Like, if you guys see any, if you rock up at the event, obviously COVID screening is compulsory. We'll dive into that in a second. Keep a lookout for the really fancy looking screen, looking at you, taking your temperature and your mask and so on. What devices can we see on event weekend that you guys would be able to implement on a race event weekend?
Yeah, so we basically just gonna have one of our high-end products. It's the Proface X TI. So it's the TI stands for thermal imaging.
Yeah.
So this device is actually just it can take your temperature detection and obviously mask detection. So
That's
and
really
obviously
cool.
facial recognition technology. Yeah.
So if the machine says no, you don't have a mask, you're not allowed to enter. That means you should turn around and go fetch your mask.
Yes, exactly.
The ZK Teco company as a whole is such a big brand and such an incredible company. I mean, obviously having you involved here already just shows a bit what the morals and the ethics of the company is about. If you can just tell us a bit more about the company's background and what you stand for.
Yeah, so ZK Teco was actually one of the first international branches in South Africa.
Yeah.
And so we officially opened in October 2009.
Sure.
Yeah, so and
Been around for a while.
yes, in the heart of in the town of Hartbeespoort in the Northwest Province, and this is currently where our head office is situated at the moment.
Nice. Yes, see, it's just so rewarding and it's just satisfying in a sense to see companies like this support local events and kind of encourage the growth of sports of like mountain biking and just buy into giving back into the local communities. Is really incredible to see. I know you guys have some sort of interactive experience showroom that you can go to. It's almost like a geek fest. You go there, it's fancy security stuff. Tell us a bit more about where we can find you. How do we go experience that? Where do we find you online?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so ZK Teco South Africa has its very own experience center based in Centurion, Pretoria.
Okay.
This place is designed for clients to interact with our products and solutions.
Yeah.
And so it's basically just you can touch and feel and you can see the whole solution, how everything works, and we can build a solution with you,
Yeah.
and just we take it from there. So it's actually
Incredible
quite nice. Yeah.
It's so fascinating, all this stuff. It's amazing to have you guys on board for the event and just to have you guys here for the weekend and to just bring some of your like incredible technology and just almost take the park and the event into the 21st century. It's amazing to have you guys. Thank you for coming out.
Yes, it's always a great pleasure to be here, and to be part of this, to be part of the community is always a great pleasure.
Yeah,
Anything you want to close with?
Yeah, so we obviously at ZK Teco, we passionately believe in families and as well as the community. We'll always be involved within the community from a ZK Teco point of view. We'll always try and assist and try and help where we can to grow the community and to have more local things so that more people can experience the town that we grew up in or where we are around for the last 12 years. So I think it's a very good event to start with.
Amazing. Thank you so much to you, to the company, to the guys that represented for repping this event and to making it possible for all the riders to come and enjoy this incredible mountain come next weekend. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. 100%. Thanks.
Before we dive into the next segment, ZK Teco, if you have not seen some of their products, they do some incredible stuff from like advanced facial recognition and smart gates and apps, and it's really incredible. Give them a look out and go check out some of their platforms and their things. They really do some cool stuff. The event next weekend, we're all really excited. The trails has been coming along incredibly well. The venues has been prepping between the Cableway, the Ironthorn Trail Park. They have really up to the notch to make this one of the most amazing events in the Enduro scene to date. So really stoked to give you some more info on that. Firstly, our entries do close. Entries to the event have to close for COVID protocol reasons and for Cycling SA protocols. The 15th of November, which is this coming Monday, the entries will close. So make sure if you plan on riding, to make sure you have an entry in by the 15th, which is coming Monday, because no late entries will be allowed. It's just there's a lot of processing behind the scenes for timing and for protocol reasons. We need to have closed down numbers, so there will be no late entries on the day. So if you have a friend that wants to race, just give him a nudge and make sure he goes to enter. Where can you enter? The Cycling South Africa or CSA app. All of you would know what that looks like. If you head over there, you will find your entry to the event this weekend. Make sure you have one before it closes. If you are not taking notes throughout the course of this whole discussion or the whole live feed of what the trails look like, don't be stressed. we are going to put out a proper press release info drop with all the relevant info and links come next week Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that. Don't have to take notes. Sit back, enjoy the show, and just let us share with you what we have lined up for the coming weekend. The person I have with me now, a lot of you would know him as Charles van Sale. He's has a full-time job in town, and he's really been the driving force behind this whole park and behind the mountain bike specifically, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you here with me. Charles, welcome to the live feed, welcome to your own park, and amazing to have you here with me. Looking forward to the
thing between VSC, the owner, running the whole Eindhoven estate. This has always been a big dream for all of us to really take the three big ones, the SA downhill, and then the cross country SA national event also, and now having an Enduro Champs. That's like the third tick in the box for us, and we're super excited to have the riders come and enjoy. And I want to say that off the bat, an Enduro event, we're working our bums off to prep the trails so that they are Enduro ready. It's not a 5-stage downhill race. We're taking out all the serious stuff, and the big focus for us with this event is giving people the experience of using the gondolas and the lift and getting to the top. Not all the stages, we'll chat about that a bit later, but giving them that experience, and then having proper elevation drop in the enduro stage. And so the focus is fun, the focus is to be safe, and the focus is to allow the youngsters to ride all the way. Incredible, I just saw Matt going up and down, like riding, and he's like 68 or something.
Yes, so 68 years old and he's crushing these trails.
Yes,
that's incredible. I must be honest, I'm not the biggest downhill mountain biker or enduro rider myself. I do ride, but these trails can be intimidating, and like you said, there's been an enormous amount of effort into making it as rideable and as safe as possible. But before we dive into trails specifically, I know you're excited about it, I have to run through some last rules and just establish the relationships and how this park is set up. So the Eindhoven Trail Park is obviously host to the event specifically, but we do partner with the incredible Harties Cableway that has been incredibly accommodating and welcoming to the event and using their gondolas and putting up racks. So it's really important, guys, please, for all the riders to respect their business. They are a big tourist attraction, and we are not allowed to have, let's call it priority boarding to the gondolas. The event is held really early in the morning, specifically to make sure that there's not a lot of traffic and that the riders can get up the gondolas easily. But once there is some people that wants to enter up the cableway, we will have to wait in line and respect the rules and the regulations of the cableway building, and just keep in mind the COVID regulations that goes along with being an enclosed space. They do spray each gondola with a disinfectant before you board it, so those things are all in place, but just please respect their business. They're a big part of this whole event, of the whole park, and we'd love to grow a better relationship forward with them. So please keep that in mind. Finally, regulations a bit aside, I'm sure there's more in the race briefing and the info drop, but for now, I want to chat event, I want to chat trail weekend, official practice days, what does the stages look like, and kind of, just give you guys a better picture of what you can expect come race weekend. The stages, the practice days.
Okay,
I'm gonna hand over to you.
Let's start with this week. I think starting with this weekend, that would be, because a lot of riders, we know you want to come up and train a bit. So as I said, we really are busy working on the trails, and that's a tremendous amount of work. So for this weekend, we all recommend to only practice 3 stages, and we're going to show the stages to you a bit later. But for this weekend, Vulture Valley, Cuvane, and the downhill track. The downhill track, we're still working on a lot of the B-lines, so you can come and scout them out a little bit. Harties 5, the other stage we're busy building, that's only going to be ready for next week. So from Monday, actually, we're really digging in. We've got a full team of 12 guys working on all the trails all the time, so just to get that prepped and ready. So this weekend, rather focus on those 2. Vulture Valley has a new start, so you will see the old start is gone. We've got something up our sleeves that we are very, very excited about, but you can't say too much now. So there's going to be a new start, and one of the other stages that was supposed to be Jolly Rocker will also share the start, so there's going to be a stage, but that finer detail we'll discuss in that race document. So next week the park's open from Wednesday, Thursday for practice, and Friday. just remember, only the trails will only be ready and marked and like race ready on the Saturday when it's official practice.
Yeah, official practice. The 20th of November would be official practice day. We'd have medics on site. It'll be a full legit affair, and we'd make sure that all the trails by then, the construction crew have cleared them. We've walked them for whatever checks we need to do before we launch them officially to the event. So
Yes.
if you want your smoothest experience and your closest to race day trail, that'll be better to come on official practice day. I shall mention from Wednesday next week the park would be open, but just be conscious that there is still work being done on the trails to make sure that event day they are 100% smooth.
Yeah. So the reason the park's closed on a Monday and a Tuesday, the cableway's not open. So
That is true.
so we're just using that as a guideline to say, okay, listen, let's keep those 2 days clean. Nobody will be able to get to the top. So if you're planning to come on Monday and you're going to take a lift, you're going to be very sad because the cableway is not going to open for one rider.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
true.
it takes it's
So
a big
yeah,
mission.
for a bit more context, there's a non-disclosure event happening at the cableway on the Monday and Tuesday. They will be closed, so if you rock up on Monday or Tuesday, it's going to be hard carrying your bike up this mountain. I can promise you, it's a long walk.
Definitely. So we want to dive into the stages, maybe.
I think let's
Okay.
run through the stages. We
Okay.
have a very nice Relive 3D map for you to have a nice mental context as to where the trail starts, where it ends, and I guess Charles, you'll kind of talk
Yeah.
us through the names and the trails, etc., etc.
Yeah. So I just rode them yesterday, and I just made sure that the GPX files are as close as possible. So let's have a look at Vulture Valley, sponsored by Property Tree, and it's a short 40-second video, and then we'll chat.
Those Relive videos are the best.
Yeah.
Vulture Valley, Vulture Valley.
It's the Property Tree Vulture Valley. They sponsor the stage. So what we've done, and we just want to honor our sponsors for that. We've sold each stage, given different businesses opportunities to buy a stage. So it's the Property Tree Vulture Valley, and it's a revised Vulture Valley where we actually made a whole new top section for a start, a whole flow trail, and then almost I'd say a quarter into the trail there's going to be a split where you're going to take maybe a new trail, which we are still working on, or Vulture Valley to your right. That's probably the longest one. It's the fun one. It's the one that the lights and the Enduro Full will be racing. If you take it slow, I think the perception that people have about this park specifically, that there's just rocks everywhere, that's true, but I think what
Let's not
scare
lie to
people
each other, yeah.
what scare people more is the fact that it's just a gradient. So if you just lower your saddle and you lean back and you just ride things slowly, you will see that you find most of the trails for the enduro rollable, even if
Yeah.
it's slower. So get it out of your head that it's impossible to ride, but just work on the way you ride gradient. I think maybe
Yeah.
watch some YouTube videos on how
Watch
to
some
ride
YouTube
steep
videos.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like Charles mentioned, the park has an incredible reputation to be an extremely difficult park to ride. And with this Enduro Champs, the ZK Teco Enduro Champs, we've put a big emphasis on making it as rideable as possible. And with the new aspect that we can't disclose too much about, would definitely make a big part of that more rideable. And then,
Yes.
yeah, we're keen to share that with you guys and to break the stigma of the incredibly difficult Iron Throne Trail Park.
Yeah, I think just about that. We need to get the word out there that our aim is to really try and build a world-class facility. So the downhill track in the future, it won't get easier. It'll probably just be built more downhilly. We want a world-class downhill track, but we also want world-class enduro trails and a world-class cross-country track, and that's the plan we are working towards. Let's jump into stage 2.
Stage 2.
That one is sponsored by the Cableway, Artis Cableway, so go give them a like and a shout. So they're sponsoring Kuvain. Everybody is struggling with the pronunciation. It's actually Afrikaans word called Kuwait. It's the Afrikaans for ferry. So let's have a look at that one.
Free stage. I've run that trail quite a bit, and I know the last segment of that trail is absolutely incredible. I've run it down, and not as fast as you ride it, but that's Kuwait.
Yes, and I think that's the one where guys think we're gonna get to Iron Throne this weekend. We're gonna take the shuttles to all the stages. That's not it, guys. This is Enduro. So what are you doing? We're trying to get the top tough stages. We want to get the riders up fresh as possible, so that the guys can have the massive elevation but still be fresh. So we'll just give the finer details through, but there's going to be a staggered start where the guys doing the full enduro will have to start with the downhill trail, and then the light riders will start with the other two. So you'll first have to do your lift runs first, and then we're going to go to the two trails that we're going to climb. So Kuwait is one of the ones we're going to climb. So from Iron Throne, there's a proper. It's not a long climb. I think it's a kilometer.
It's,
but it's
just 1.2 k's. Yeah.
It's 280 meters elevation gain, so it's going to be a tough one. And then it's a very pedally stage, so you have to save some energy for that one. And even then, the Harties vibe, the next stage we're going to look at, that's also a lot of pedaling in that one. And you're going to also have to pedal your way there. So you're going to have a lift assist for 3 runs, and then you're going to pedal to 2. So just about that, for all the sneaky guys that think they're going to be sneaky, we're going to make sure, and we're not going to tell you how we're going to do it now, but on day you will either be stamped or clamped or something. When you go up, you'll only have 3 passes to get to the top in the event. So if you sneak Kuwait in one of those 3 passes, that means you're going to have to pedal up for one of the other 2, and that means you'll have to pedal up all the way to the top of the mountain. So just remember, there's going to be 3 runs, the down the run, the Vulture Valley, and then the one we can't say much about.
Yes.
That will start on top, and the rest we're going to climb.
So important just to know that it is important to do the cableway runs first,
Yes.
for logistically and time, and not having backlogs at the bottom of the cableway with everyday people arriving. Important to do the cable shuttle lifted runs as your first runs.
The reason we do it like this, the cableway gets busy from 11 o'clock. On a Sunday, they can easily get between 2,000 to 3,000 people on a Sunday, and I'm sure you know the queues. And you're going to be really angry when you stand in a queue for 4 hours when you have to do your race run. So everybody thinks we're starting super early. I think by 6:30 is the estimated starting time. The sun's already out for an hour and a half. It's already almost 30 degrees. So it's the best time to start. So it's going to be an early start with exactly the reason that we have the cableway for ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's jump into stage 5 quickly.
Stage 5, let's go.
Brand new, super exciting news about Hartbeespoort High School and how they're going to be involved in coaching downhill, enduro mountain biking and cross country at the school. They're situated right next to our park, and from next year the Hartie school kids will be able to get coaching and be part of this park.
That's amazing.
From as a school sport, which is really cool. So keep an eye out on them, keep an eye out for the stage. This is one of the stages that they design and they're busy building. It's also a pedally one, okay? And this is also part of the Enduro Light one. So let's have a look at SP5, the Artist Vibe.
That is the Harties Vibe SP5. incredible to have them involved from the high school side, and just again to grow this community, to have the big sponsors from ZK Teco, and have it to see how it directly goes through to the kids and going into the sport is just incredible stuff to see. Well done to all involved.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the school, so really keep an eye out on what's happening there. The next stage, the Cinderfit investment, sponsored by them. It's the scary one, the downhill track. We are working very hard to make sure that there's beelines for everybody. We're testing it with a 10-year-old on a hardtail, taking him down there and seeing that he can ride all the lines. So that would be one of the stages that I really recommend you spend most time on. Not because it's super crazy dangerous. We're taking out all the jumps, we're taking out all the big drops. It's just going to be more of an enduro stage than a downhill track. But that's the one you need to spend some time on, and get your lines and find your lines and make sure you know it, especially for the full riders that will be starting with a downhill track and you think you maybe know it from a previous event. You need to do that. Don't do it as a blind run. So let's have a look at that one. That is the SP3, and that's the downhill track sponsored by Cinderfit.
Cinderfit investment, that segment you definitely want to check out. Like he said, it is one of the more tricky ones, but it'll almost be a very new track to people who even has ridden it before, to make sure you know where it's going. If you say we're putting a lot of effort into it, we really mean it. And there's a stage, if you didn't notice, there wasn't a fourth stage.
SP4.
Well, the first stage, SP4 wasn't mentioned in there. It's because we're doing something that we're really proud of and we think would make the biggest difference to making this park more rideable. And I'm not allowed to say too much about it, but am I allowed to say who's involved?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Charles.
So the big reveal for this stage, it's honestly, that will be the safest one on the day. So planning the event, leading up to this event, we plan to put Jolly Rocker in, which is the long rocky one going away from the park side. But then this stepped into action. This plan stepped into action, and we might have. There's a 98% chance that this trail it'll definitely be in for the event, but it will be finished properly. But that's something that will change Iron Throne Trail Park completely, and that's something that you want to ride. I heard a little bird sing that it's something in the line of the longest one in Africa. So it will only be launched on the Saturday on official practice day. So we want to ask if you're here and you see stuff is closed, don't go on the trails. Please respect us as trail builders and as a park. But this is exciting. It's a stage that almost everybody's going to ride blind. The lights and the full riders will do it. And what excites me about this whole event, we expect the racing time to be more than 20 minutes for the winning time. The stages are long. They are physical. You'll need to be well rested. So finding a balance between the Saturday and the Sunday. How hard do I push? Or how?
Yes.
That will be a trick. It's part of the game. Yeah.
So expect a tough weekend as SA Champs, but expect a doable weekend in terms of technicality. Expect a quality event. We even have a nicely prepped water table again. The guys from ZK Teco just stepping up the bar and saying, wouldn't you guys like to get some water on top of the mountain, some snacks, and make a proper day out of it? So ZK Teco Enduro Champs, help from the Cableway, help from Property Tree. We got Hartbeespoort High School and the Cinderfit investments. And with the Iron Trail Park, really excited for the event coming. And just if you guys have any big questions, please pop them in the comments and we'll make sure that they are answered with the info briefing that we'll be dropping next week. And we are just stoked to have you all out here and to share with you our surprise package that we've been working so hard on. Yeah, I think that's a wrap from our side. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. ZK Teco, thank you. Shaul, 1 second. Is dat opnieuw?
Yeah, so sorry I was interrupting you. This is live and we're trying to be authentic, eh? So
Is ons unmute nou?
we are live
Okay.
and we are unmuted. But we just seen some of the questions in the posts. And can you do the runs in any order? There will definitely be some structure. So we'll say all the full riders will have to start with this stage because everybody won't be bunched when they come up to the top. It'll be rider for rider. So we just ask the guys not to stand around on top. But as you get to the top, immediately start with the stage, and there should be a natural flow. The cableway will split up the riders in 7-minute batches. No, not 7 minutes. It takes 7 minutes from the top to the bottom, which is the best shuttle in Africa also, I reckon.
Only shuttle lift in
So when you
Africa.
get to the top, make sure you get to the stage. The lights will start in a certain order. They'll have to do the lift runs first, so that'll be Vulture Valley and the Surprise Trail. And then they're going to do Harties Vibe, and the full riders, they'll have to start with a downhill run, and then from there they'll also go to Vulture Valley. So just so we can manage the flow and we don't have any congestions or riders getting stuck in front of other riders. We're just finding out more, 1 or 2 more questions.
What is the best stages to start first with?
Okay, so the next question was what's the best stages to start first with, and unfortunately you don't have a choice. Practice wise, I would say in order, start practicing the downhill track and then Vulture Valley and then Kuvain and Harties Vibe. You will only also be able to practice on official race day or practice day, and the other line, I don't know if you need to practice that, you'll just have to come and enjoy it.
That maybe gives it away a bit, saying that this new line, we're doing it as a blind stage because you are able to ride this blind.
Yeah, that's it.
Exciting.
Yeah, and we want to encourage spectators. There's a Predator Park, there's a restaurant at the venue. You're welcome to come up on the cableway and spend some time here. Zetko Teko, Thomas hasn't been on an Enduro race before, so we'll still have to get him on a bike maybe. So if there's
We'll make it
somebody
happen.
watching this video wanting to put Thomas on an Enduro bike, we are in for
Putting
that.
me out there. Okay, I'll
but
do it.
It's not a lot of Enduro events where you get to the top in the middle of all the stages where there's a massive water point and some energy and you can refuel, and there's some nice bathrooms, and if you want you can buy a Coke or something at the cableway. So that makes the midway stop really cool for the event also.
I agree. This is really a very unique venue in the sense of the facilities that they have available on top of the mountain with the cableway lift, and the potential for this event and this venue is just unlimited, and it's an honor for us to bring this to you from the park side. Like Shaul said, for a family day, if you have friends or family wants to come along, under current COVID regulations, we are allowed spectators. There is a cableway lift to the top of the mountain. We just want to ask spectators to please be rider conscious and please respect trails that are closed or bunted off. If they are closed for a reason, either being it safety or construction on that specific trail. So just be respectful of the signage on the park. And the Anthro the Predator Park, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated Predator parks around. They've recently redid the reptile segment of it, and it's really worth spending. I think it's actually really not expensive. 60, 70 bucks per person to go in there and experience what they've done. So I'd really encourage that to experience what this venue has to offer besides the actual trails and the mountains.
Then just on that note, for if you're riding and you're gonna buy your entry, and then the other thing you need to buy is your cable lift pass. So my suggestion is buy a 30-day one. You can do it online on the Aerial Cableways, on the Harties Cableways website, and that'll be active for 30 days. In 30 days you can, if the cableway is open, you can use it as much as you want, but it's only for a bicycle one way. So you get that pass and it will be valid for the SA Champs also, and for all your practice days and everything. So there's 2 things you need to buy. You need to enter before the 15th, and then you need to buy your cable pass. Otherwise you're going to be stuck.
Like I
They're
said,
not going to
walking up
open
this
the ticket
mountain.
sales 6 o'clock in the morning. Only the cableway. Yeah.
So very important to have a pre-bought ticket by event day and not expect to buy your cableway ticket on the day.
Yes, very important.
Very important.
Yes.
that's a wrap from our side.
Yeah, and we're excited to host everybody. We're excited for the event. We want to encourage guys to, if you're in doubt, don't be the one that said if only. Give it a go. Rather get to a section and you really feel you can't ride it and push your bike and come and have fun. For the first ever Enduro event at Iron Throne, I don't know why we do this. We did the same with the downhill, and the first one ever is the SA Champs. So we're excited to see you next weekend. Be safe. Don't ride alone, and remember, we really recommend knee pads and proper helmet and decent safety gear
Adequate
on
safety
the bike,
gear.
and make sure your bike's in great condition. So yeah, that's it from our side. Also from my side, it's nice to talk
Thank
to
you.
everybody, and we see you in the weekend. We see you on the trails.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, ZK Teco, and to all the other brands involved. It's a wrap from our side for the live feed. Like I mentioned, if you have more questions, drop them in the comments. We'll get to them either in the reply or in the info drop. Don't go with questions in your head. And extremely excited to welcome you all, to have you here, to have you experience the park and the new feature especially. Until then, stay safe and see you next weekend. Nice. I'm excited to have them all here. It's going to be nice.